Good evening, Otherworldlies. This is Queen Juliana, your Dark Mask Diva. This content is about safeguarding your home. Now, I go down a few rabbit holes, but I promise this is the same topic. All right, I talk about codependency. I talk about people siphoning your energy. I talk about the different kinds of people that do this. All right, I talk about a few personality profiles. And so without further ado, wrote a song about it. Want to hear it? Here it go. Okay, safeguarding your home. There are different ways people will siphon your energy. Some will do it because they lack boundaries. Others will do it because they want to be you to be the giver and the doer in the relationship. And some others will do it to have more of a private and less of a public relationship with you. The first kind of person is your friend who is a mess, okay? With all of those bad kids. They have bad kids, okay? The friend, for whatever reason, is mentally ungrounded. It's possible there's a drug issue, but for whatever reason, their connection to reality isn't the same as other people's. They aren't emotionally present enough to create structure for their kids. So nobody wants their kids around. It's not the kids' fault. They need adults to show them right and wrong. The kids are probably taking it personally. In fact, I know they do, because they have tantrums when an adult corrects them. They don't get that at home. They don't get any correction at home. And they don't realize that's supposed to happen. Okay. Hopefully this will make more sense the more I read. Your friend may have a good reason for being a mess. They could be traumatized, suffering depression, living in poverty. All right, that'll do it. Anything that emotionally destabilizes somebody. Not judging. However, if you are chronically attracting people like this, or attracted to people like this, something is wrong. It's time for some boundaries. This is going to sound funny, but I'm being dead serious. You need to keep your front door locked. I know most of us already do, but I'm talking to everyone. This is why. These types of people will drop by unannounced after 2 years of not speaking to you because you put up a boundary, and one of their kids will just open your door and walk right in. Everyone else will too, like nothing happened. Yeah, you can tell I'm speaking from experience. I've had the moms stand by just acting oblivious while the kids handled my cat's newborn kittens, my antiques, ran separate directions into every room of my house at once, jumped on my bed, pulled everything out of my fridge, took things off the walls. I wish I was making this up. I had to collect everyone, sit them on my couch, and tell them to stay there, and they all started crying while their mothers did nothing. While they bawled and told me how mean I was. I don't want my animals harmed and my home destroyed. As far as these kinds of friends go, I've had more than one, so I had to look at myself, okay, and ask if I was too much of a fixer. If you're attracted to train wrecks and they won't leave you alone, that probably means you're a codependent and you have a lot of work you need to do on yourself. All right, I had to look at myself. There's one friend, this one friend knew people talked about her and her kids all the time. This means she was made aware of it. Someone in the circle took her aside and said that people gossip and complain about her and her kids. She did eventually have their dad take the 2 older ones, while she kept the 2 younger ones. By then, we were out of each other's lives. But this was another person. But this was another person who would drop by unannounced. With this first friend, I had to tell her not to bring her kids. In my defense, no one else wanted her kids around either, even their grandparents. The second friend talked about me behind my back, so I just got rid of her altogether. I don't know, it gets to the point where you don't want people defaming your character. You don't want people around in your business. People start talking about you behind your back. They're not a friend, right? It's easier to tell people not to bring their kids than to discipline their kids when the kids are in your home. That so-called friend is turning you into the bad guy. All you have to do is tell them that their kids make you nervous. If they try to say they will control them, you know that they won't. So stay firm with that boundary. Now that their kids are out of the way, let's talk about the moms siphoning energy. See, it's wearing me out just to talk about it, you guys. I mean, I knew I would have to write this down because it would wear me out just to do a cold content. Now that the kids are out of the way, okay, let's start this again. So you have these friends who are drama queens. You probably like these people because there's never a dull moment. They are also scattered, and you can give them advice all the time. You are the emotionally centered out of the two of you. That probably feeds your ego. Here's the thing, you aren't actually helping that person. You think you are, because they always have a story to tell and you always listen. This is a huge waste of time. They are just dumping and never listening to a single piece of advice you give them. The only thing they are listening to are things they can use against you. I know that was hard to hear, but this is an unbalanced friendship. You probably have other things going for you that make you look or seem better than them too. This makes you feel superior. Is anybody hearing me? Well, guess what? They see this imbalance too. They may admire you and love you on some level. But this is a psychologically imbalanced person. They feel insecure next to you. So they are going to do something grimy against you. It's from envy and resentment. And they know the friendship dynamic is you being better than them. Better than them. Okay, so we're going to put that in quotation marks. Okay? Because we're basing everything on ego here. All right? But you both feel the same way. They're trying to settle the score. All right? People are basically egotistical. They are and you are, okay? This is only one reason you need to stop having codependent relationships with people, just in general, all right? There are so many reasons. The number one thing you can do is stop having codependent relationships with people is to put up boundaries. That is the very best thing you can do. The more boundaries you have, the less of these kind of people like these are going to end up taking up your time and siphoning your energy. Here's something else that's going to happen. You aren't going to attract good attention. People are going to think birds of a feather flock together, and you're as scattered as that person is. When you're keeping company with people like that, you're feeding your own ego by comparing yourself to them. They're siphoning your energy and they are keeping you stagnant. Okay? That's why we need to get out of our ego and get onto our purpose. Get out of our ego and get onto our purpose. These people are distractions. The more you stop being lonely and keep people out of your house, the better off you're going to be. I didn't realize this until 2020, when it became normalized to keep people out of your house. I'm not saying I liked the pandemic, but it did us that favor. There's no pressure. There's no more pressure to be hospitable. I still had people trying to impose, but I had no problem saying, I need you to go. And see red flag behavior, like people having ulterior motives for wanting to come over. That's when I noticed different people aggressively trying to get into the house. I never noticed it before, but I was codependent before. I used to have parties and company all the time and never thought about it. Then I started saying no about people coming to my house. They'd try to invite themselves over or pick me up there or drop me off there or whatever, or walk me home, and I would make it impossible. Then they'd nag me and try to trick me into it and have a hissy fit because I was steps ahead of them. Why are you trying to get into my house so bad when I don't want you there? It's not like I was being invited to their house instead, but they wouldn't accept, I don't want people over, or I don't have people over. It's more like I just told them I don't have people over. Here's the most common scenario. A man wants access to your address so he can drop by and hook up with you. He wants to Netflix and chill, not to have to spend any money on you, get a home-cooked meal from you, and basically use you. Okay? If he doesn't have your address, he can't do that. If you're dating him, tell him, I date, I don't host. If he brings your house up, just say, yeah, like in the future. Make sure he's taken you on a dozen dates and paid for all of them. Like, when you have been intimate, he's paid for the hotel, the bed and breakfast, maybe you two have gone on a trip together. Make him invest time, money, and consideration into you before he finds out where you live. Okay, so this is, mostly we're talking about time. You're getting to know him outside your house, okay? There's another reason I'm telling you to do this. It's easier to do this than to have a restraining order because some guy turns out to be unhinged. Or have to move just to get away from him. If he's starting out by hanging out at your house, you're giving him wife privileges. When he's having some dude you barely know. When he's some dude you barely know. He may turn into a boyfriend roommate, but he'll find some excuse not to marry you. Here's a super grimy reason I'm giving this advice. He wants to have your association secret for whatever reason. He's carrying on some other relationships at the same time and making you think you're the only one, or he's too ashamed to be seen with you. When a guy is proud of you, he wants to take you on a date and show you off. Men are judged by the women they are with. If he thinks you're beautiful, he wants everyone to see you with him. If you're embarrassing, he has zero issue sleeping with you. He wants to do it at your house. Here's another thing that's weird and unfortunate but true. Some people are not dating you for you. They're dating your hospitality. Moreover, some people are dating you because they like your house. The color scheme is probably nice, you're a good cook, or you let them cook because they enjoy it, you have good electronics, the furniture is comfortable, you're a good homemaker, it's just a nice place to be. I used to be with this guy long term, and we really had nothing in common. I look back on it, and I think the house was keeping me there. I didn't realize it at the time. You also need to stay out of the house and be in public with this person you're involved with to see if they're too embarrassing for you. If you're spending a lot of time in the beginning behind closed doors, they're going to be on their best behavior. But you also can't see if you're going to end up being ashamed of them. I know this is painful talk. Before you come for me in the comments, let me explain. That person who is trying to get in your house without properly dating you is somehow ashamed of you. I don't know why, but they just are. They would be showing you off otherwise. You need to see how they behave in public, how they treat waitstaff, if they are decent human beings, how they treat people from other walks of life, if they make fun of people, if they respect elders. Have you ever seen those couples where one says, "I can't take you anywhere," to the other because that person has no social etiquette? You don't want to be caught in that situation. You might be if you're getting to know them in the house. Then you go outside 3 months later and they do something that just makes you want to disappear from the spot. For example, maybe they talk really loud in public. You didn't know that because they were quiet in the house. Meanwhile, everyone is looking at you too like, what is wrong with them? Or the way they dress is really unacceptable. Inside the house, that's something that wouldn't matter. You need to be outside the house to see how people really present themselves. You will see a new side to them. Their accent and grammar. If it's bad, they are going to talk worse outside the house. I'm not sure why this is, but they will reply to people speaking properly to them with the most atrocious grammar and hard to understand accent. You may find yourself having a hard time understanding them. Meanwhile, you've been getting to know them inside, but outside, they aren't someone you can be comfortable next to. I say like and a lot. I do. Okay? It's a bad habit. However, I'm talking about syntax that's a lot more embarrassing. I'm sure you know someone who sounds really off when they speak. It's not like you can say something because they think you're being mean. It's not like you can say something because they think you're being mean. Sorry if I didn't say that right. And they will insist they have always talked like that. Bull. I think people say they are better one-on-one, but you need to be in public with that person a lot to see what you're actually getting into. You're going to want to see what impression they give other people because you're teaming up with this person as a couple. If they don't care that they're making a bad impression on everyone, it's disrespectful to you because you're the person who is going to have to hear about it or even blamed for it. That's a long time before you let people in the house. If anyone is making a fuss, they can't come inside or come to the house or know where you live. See that as a red flag that it is. That's a person not respecting a boundary. If they're being that pushy, they think you're hiding something. And you might consider ending the association if they don't let up. It's not healthy behavior to insist on coming over after someone told you no. Someone may try to invite themselves over because some people are socially awkward. Just tell them you don't have people over. If they don't let up, they are up to something. Anyone who is being pushy, acting panicky, trying to guilt you is out of pocket for that. They're going to try to make you feel weird for not welcoming them in. But be firm, change the subject, do whatever you need to do. They're the one who is actually doing something wrong. Don't be gaslit. Here's another reason you don't want people coming over until they've passed all your tests. Your neighbors. You can have a platonic male friend over, think it's obvious he's gay, and everyone assumes you're sleeping with him. For every 2 guys who come to your house, it's going to seem like 4. For every 4 guys who come to your house, it's going to seem like 8. The more attractive you are, the more people are going to multiply that number and assign the worst morality to you. So if no one you're dating is coming over, they're not running into each other, no one is seeing them, and you just have that one gay friend coming over, no one is starting harmful rumors that you're a sex worker. If you think I'm overreacting, this happened to a friend of mine. So I hope I've let you know how important it is to safeguard your privacy. I don't mean to make everyone paranoid, but it is okay to be cautious and not let people come over until you're sure you want them around. Take as long as you need. I know I skipped a lot of the obvious reasons, like they may be trying to rob you, but I wanted to stick to stuff you may not have considered. Thank you so much for your time and watching to the end. I love you all. God bless.